Hello friends, welcome to my new YouTube channel, Best Online Medical Lectures. So in this channel we'll be uploading a series of the videos based on the new curriculum for MBBS in India. Okay, so based on that CBME, that is curriculum based medical education new syllabus, which was proposed in 2019. So according to that curriculum we'll be uploading a series of the videos in this particular channel. Okay, so before starting the today's topic, I would like to give certain background about the today's topic. I hope most of you have donated the blood one or the other time in their lifetime. Yes, right. Or at least you might have heard about this blood donation, and while the blood donation, everyone we might have heard these terms that a particular person has a blood group A or a particular person is having a blood group O. Not only that, along with that, A blood group A positive, A negative, AB positive, AB negative, so and so. Okay, so today we are going to discuss in detail about this particular topic, that is the blood groups. Myself, Dr. Khwaja Nawazuddin Sarwari. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Physiology at a government medical college in Karnataka, and I have a total 10 years of teaching experience. So with this we'll start today's topic of blood groups. Again, before proceeding to today's topic of the blood groups, one more important thing I would like to highlight at this point is, in the year 2019, as I already mentioned, MCI, that is the Medical Council of India, now it is National Medical Commission, that is NMC. So they proposed a change in the curriculum for the MBBS students in India, and each MBBS graduate, that is more specifically Indian medical graduate, are supposed to study a subjects under a certain competencies. Okay, earlier there were sections and chapters. Now instead of that chapter's name, they have given a particular competency, that is at the end of that particular session or year, a student must be competent to in that particular competencies. Okay, competencies can be in the cognitive domain or psychomotor domain or in the attitude domain, whatever. Okay, so on that basis, so today's blood group topic, we are selected a competency from the subject physiology. Okay, so the competency number is PY 2.9. okay, there are specific codings given in that competency chart. For example, anatomy will have AN, okay, biochemistry BI, physiology PY, pathology PA. So in the physiology PA 2.9, okay, there is one competency. So according to this competency, a student at the end of the first year should be able to know or describe the different blood groups and discuss the clinical importance of the blood grouping, blood banking and transfusion. Okay, so student should be competent about this topic, that is the student should be able to know what are the different blood groups and the clinical importance and about the blood grouping and about the blood banking and the blood transfusion. Okay, again, to achieve this competency, we divide this broad topic into various subtopics, that is known as objectives or specific learning objectives. Okay, for the sake of convenience, we divide this topic into specific learning objectives. So I have divided these topics into 10 specific learning objectives, and it is very important to divide that so that we can concentrate on that particular part. And from exam point of view, that is from the theory exam point of view for MBBS in the various universities of India, this each objectives can be a full mark, that is 10 marks question, long question, or a short question or a short answer question for 5 marks or 3 marks respectively. Okay, so I have divided this into 10 different objectives. So objective number 1 is discuss the history of the blood groups and blood transfusion. Second, classify the blood groups. Third, define agglutinogens, agglutinins, agglutinations and Landsteiner's law. Fourth, describe the classical ABO blood grouping system. Fifth, describe the RH blood grouping system. Sixth, describe the RH incompatibility. Seventh, discuss the clinical importance of the blood groups. Then 8, describe the blood transfusion. 9th, discuss the hazards of the blood transfusion. 10th, describe the method of collection of the blood storage, changes occurring in the blood during the storage. Okay, so under these 10 subheadings we are going to study the today's topic. Okay, now since there is a like this video will be like it will be around 90 minutes lecture to go and discuss in detail about this various objectives. So I have divided these videos into 4 parts. Okay, so the first 3 objectives will be discussed in this video, it is the part 1. Then immediately I will be discussing the objective number 4th in the part 2, then objective number 5 and 6 in the part 3, and the remaining objectives of blood transfusion in the part 4. Okay, so now we will discuss the objective number 1, that is describe briefly the history of the blood groups and the blood transfusion. Okay, so what is the historical background when this concept of the blood groups was known to the mankind? So as early as in the year 1667, in the year 1667, a scientist from the France by name Dr. Jean Baptiste, what he first experimented this thing like a blood transfusion. What he did was he transfused a small amount of the blood to a 15-year-old boy. Okay, not from human to human but from a sheep. Okay, if you can see the display that he has transfused a small amount, a little amount of the blood. However, the boy survived because the amount of the blood which was transfused was very much little. But subsequently, when this was tried, then many deaths were seen due to some transfusion reactions. Then again in the year 1840, in London, Dr. Samuel Lane, he also now tried this blood transfusion from human to human for the first time. Okay, so as you can see, the donor is sleeping, that is in the supine position, and the recipient is sitting at a lower level. So directly it is transfused. However, again it was successful because only small amount of the blood was transfused. But after that again people used to do the same transfusion, but that was not successful and many deaths were taking place because of this transfusion, until a landmark in the history has taken place in the year 1901. The scientist Karl Landsteiner, okay, he discovered the very important concept in the blood grouping system, that is he discovered the classical ABO blood group system, what we know today, that A blood group, B blood group, O blood group and AB blood group. Okay, these terms were coined by Karl Landsteiner in the year 1901, and for his such a marvelous discovery he got a Nobel Prize in medicine and physiology in the year 1930. Okay, again the same scientist, that is Karl Landsteiner, along with A.S. Wiener in the year 1940, he discovered one more blood group system, that is the RH blood group system. This RH blood group system, that is presence of this RH antigen on the surface of an RBC, the people are designated as positive or negative, that is A positive or A negative. However, this concept will be more clear when we discuss this RH blood grouping system and ABO blood grouping system in detail. Timing, just remember the name of this scientist. Then coming to the second important objective, that is classify the blood group systems, not the blood groups, it is blood group systems. Okay, so how many types of the blood group systems we have? Okay, again for the sake of better understanding, we divide this blood group system into 3 important types: major blood grouping system, minor blood grouping system and familial blood grouping system. Now coming to the major blood grouping system, what does it mean? So major blood grouping system is the one in which the blood group antigens are present in the wide proportion of the wide proportion of a population, that majority of the population will have that blood group antigens on the surface of a RBC. So more than 30 such blood group systems are known by this time, but the most important one is the classical ABO blood group system and the RH blood group system. At this point, I would like to just tell this important thing: what is an antigen, what is an antibody? Okay, because to understand these things, remember, based on the presence of an antigen on the surface of an RBC, these blood grouping systems have been classified. Okay, So you know, in a blood vessel, consider this as a blood vessel. The liquid part inside the blood vessel, it is known as plasma, and the cellular components which are present in the blood are known as blood cells. So mainly it has RBCs, WBCs and platelets. Okay, consider this as an RBCs. Okay, RBC. So on the surface of a RBC there will be one chemical substance that is an antigen. Okay, so the presence or absence of these antigens on the surface of an RBC, we determine a particular person is having based on this antigen, we tell that particular person is belonging to which blood group, either A blood group, B blood group, or AB blood group, or O blood group. Okay, now antigen in general means, antigen is any substance which will stimulate an immune reaction in a body. Okay, for example, any foreign body or any dust particle or any microorganism, this coronavirus, this can be an antigen to our body. Okay, when they enter in our body, then they stimulate the production of antibody, they stimulate our immune system, and in response to that our immune system will produces the antibodies. Okay, that are known as antibodies. Okay, so that antibodies are generally present in the plasma, and antigens are present on the surface of a RBC. Okay, now minor blood group system. So these minor blood group systems are blood group systems. These blood group systems are not prevalent in majority of the population. That is, these blood group systems are only present in a minor proportion of a population. Okay, example are MNS blood group system and the P blood group system. Okay, and they don't cause any severe transfusion reaction. These major blood group systems, when there is a mismatching of the blood, it will causes the severe transfusion reactions. Okay, then comes the familial blood group systems. So familial blood group system, that is, these blood groups are present in certain families like Kell, Duffy, Lutheran, Levi's, Digo, Kedel. Okay, so these are seen only in that particular families. Also we have one more from the Indian perspective, we have one more blood group known as Bombay blood group. Okay, Bombay blood group, we'll discuss in the next objectives what exactly this Bombay blood groups is there. Okay, so just remember there is a blood group known as Bombay blood group. Now coming to the third objective, we have discussed about the history, that was the first objective. Second objective was we have classified the blood grouping systems into major, minor and familial, and third objective is define agglutinogen, agglutinin, agglutination and Landsteiner's law. Okay, so to understand this concept of ABA blood group system, RH blood grouping system, we are supposed to know some basic terms. Okay, so first we will try to understand the definition or what it means to be an agglutinogen. As you can see on the display, agglutinogens are the antigens which are present on the cell membrane of a RBCs. Okay, same thing which I have already described, that is agglutinogens are an antigens which are present on the surface of a RBCs. Okay, the antigens which are present on the cell membrane of an RBC or the surface of an RBCs are termed as agglutinogens. Okay, so there are nearly 30 such agglutinogens or antigens are known. Then come to the second definition, agglutinin. So agglutinins are basically antibodies. So agglutinins are the antibodies against the agglutinogens and are present in the plasma. Okay, so as I already mentioned, in response to an antigen, our immune system will produce the antibodies. Okay, the antibodies which are present in the plasma against a particular antigen, that antibodies, it is known as agglutinins. For example, A is an antigen, its corresponding antibody is anti-A, that is an agglutinin. B is an antigen and its corresponding antibody is anti-B. That's antibodies will be present in the plasma and antigens will be present on the surface of an RBC. That is this one, either A antigen will be present or B antigen present, so and so. Okay, then what is an agglutination reaction? So when this antigen combines with an antibody, its corresponding antibody, then there is when it mixes this, it leads to certain reaction. That reaction is known as agglutination reaction. So agglutination is a process which occurs when an antigen is mixed with its corresponding antibody, and it leads to the formation of the clumps of the cells or the inert particles. Okay, so when there is a combination of antigen and antibody, that reaction basically it's an agglutination reaction. Now coming to the most important aspect, Landsteiner's law. Okay, it could be a 3 marks or a 2 marks question in theory examination in various universities of India. Landsteiner's law. So it has 2 parts. What does it states? So according to the first part of the first law, if an agglutinogen is present on the red cells, the corresponding agglutinin must be absent from the plasma. So what does it mean? Suppose if an agglutinogen, for example, A agglutinogen, that is A antigen, is present on the surface of a RBC, okay, then its corresponding antibody that is anti-A must be absent in the plasma. That is, when A is present on the surface of a RBC, then its corresponding antibody, that is anti-A, must be absent in the plasma. Okay, anti-B can be present but not anti-A when A is present on the surface of a RBC. Okay, then the second part of the law states that if an agglutinogen is absent on the red cells, then the corresponding agglutinin must be present in the plasma. That means, suppose if this A agglutinogen is absent on the surface of a RBC, it's not present on the surface of a RBC, then its corresponding antibody, that is anti-A must be present in the plasma. So whenever there is an absence of the particular antigen or agglutinogen on the surface of a RBC, then its corresponding antibody should be present in the plasma. Okay, if B is absent, then anti-B will be present in the plasma. Okay, so this Landsteiner law does not hold good, especially the second part, for all the blood group system. It only holds good for the ABO blood grouping system, because most of the blood group system, for example RH blood grouping system, does not have the natural antibodies for the RH antigens. Okay, so this second part does not holds good for the RH blood group system. It specifically holds good system for the ABO blood group system. Okay, so with this I conclude this video. The next objective, that is the ABO blood grouping system, will be discussed in the second part. I hope you like this video, and I request you people to please like and subscribe this channel so that we can make more videos, and and positive criticism is accepted. Please suggest us what we can improve. Okay, I know I have made most of the mistakes for adjusting the sound or the video quality or the arrangements. Whatever resources I have at present, I'm utilizing that resources and trying to make the video, but I request you to please give the positive feedback so that I can improve it in my next videos. Thank you, take care one and all.